Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Wayne, and I am playing some more Wurm Online. Here I am on the Harmony server. The server gave birth well, I guess it didn't give birth. It became born. It was born. I can talk if I try really hard. It was born 6 days ago. And something amazing is about to happen. Maybe not that amazing, but pretty amazing to me, because I am working on my unfinished guard tower, and as you can see, I only have 5 clay to add and it's done. I made the mistake of accidentally combining my clay. I did not mean to do that. So, oops, I hit continue too soon. We'll see what happens here. Let me give you a perspective. This is what it looks like unfinished. Unfinished guard tower. It's quite tall once it gets completed. I've been working on this thing for about 1 million years now. Let me tell you something. When you're just starting out and you have low skills, building a guard tower is an accomplishment. It requires 500 stone bricks, 500 clay, and 100 wooden planks. You have to keep in mind, too, that in order to get the bricks, you have to first mine the stone shards, and then you have to chisel the stone shards into bricks. And did I talk about this in the previous video? I don't remember now. You see, due to the fact that I've recorded 3 videos that will never make it to YouTube, I've kind of forgotten some. Well, I remember everything that I've spoken about, but I just can't remember which portions made it into the last video and which portions are lost forever in the lost videos. We'll call them the lost video series. I still have them, but they're just not worthy of being, oh, look, one left. I'm going to interrupt myself because we have one last clay to add. Let me walk out here. I don't want to be standing. I don't think anything happens to you if you complete it while you're standing in it, but just in case, I don't want to tempt fate. Let's see if, let's go ahead and, oh, come on. Here we go. Building a guard tower is kind of a big deal. You have to coordinate with your neighbors. I mean, if you care about your neighbors, you'll coordinate with them. Because, oh, look at that. Look at that. A beautiful, beautiful guard tower. Let me go up here. Let's get a perspective so we can enjoy it in all of its glory. Ah, yes. Hey, oh, no, get over here. Don't fall down the mine. Okay, there you go. Very nice. Very nice indeed. It won't have enough QL to spawn a guard yet, but I'll improve it, and then it will. I'm pretty sure I can get this up to 20 at least, provided I can mine a 20 QL shard. The way it works is for every 10 quality, you'll get 1 guard that spawns. And if it happens to be rare, then you'll get an extra guard on top of that. And then for the other rarities, which is Supreme and then Fantastic, I think you'll get an additional guard still. Let's check that quality real quick. I'm going to guess it's going to be pretty low. I'm going to guess like 2 something. Let's see. It is, oh, it's 10. Right out. Well, that surprises me. All right. So it's already going to spawn a guard here. I'm not sure how long it will take to do that. But what was I saying? Yes, guard tower proximity. A guard tower cannot be within 50 tiles of another guard tower. So if you're me and you're here and you have a neighbor here, which I do, and you have a neighbor here, which I do, you have to coordinate with them to make sure that your guard towers have the proper minimum distance between them. If you don't do that, then you might be in for a surprise when you go to start a guard tower and find that you are getting a warning message alerting you that you won't be able to complete it. Now, some people don't care about their neighbors, and some people are rushing it, and it's a race for them, or at least they think so. They play Wurm as if it is a race rather than a marathon. And so they're not bothering to even talk to their neighbors. But you're missing out on an important part of what Wurm is, if that's you. Now, you don't have to be a social butterfly, but it is an MMO. And if you can't talk to your neighbors, then I'm not sure who you can talk to. That being said, I have had people in the area that started out not very friendly at all. And I had words with them. I've had land disputes already. It's been less than a week. I wanted to do this video tomorrow. It's currently Thursday. And I wanted to do this next video. Whoa, a little bit of a spike there. On the 1 week anniversary. However, I was also 1 day behind uploading my first video that I wanted to do yesterday. And I just did that a few minutes ago. The first video for Harmony, for me anyway. And I want to do a mini playthrough of my experiences on the Harmony server. So I just decided to go ahead and do this one. We're 1 day prior to the 1 week anniversary. Why every time over there? Prior to the 1 week anniversary of Harmony. And I don't remember if I showed you the cluster map before. Wait, here we go. In the previous video. But look, we have a legit cluster now. The Northern Islands, which consist of 3 islands. Harmony, the PvE island that I'm on. See, it says you are on this island, just in case you forget. Defiance, the PvP server. And Melody, that they had to add because this server was just so darn crowded. So they've already added another server. I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous video or not. So if you're not currently playing, that's just how fast, that's just how many people joined up with the Steam launch and the new servers launching at the same time. It's been kind of crazy. Things have been working just great, though. It was rough during that first weekend there. Oh man, it was very rough. Quite a few issues, lag. I don't think the devs got much sleep. They were definitely working overtime and working their tails off, and now everything is running quite smooth. Let's see who's on right now. Let's see, 700 people are on Harmony right now, and 1,600 total. It's Thursday. I'm expecting this to get up to 2,000 again over the weekend, or really close to it. That's what it was last weekend. Speaking of the map, I've been monitoring CA help a lot, especially while building this tower, because it's mostly me just standing there and adding parts to it, taking forever. So I've been watching CA help and chiming in whenever I happen to know the answer. And one question that I've seen come up so many times is, how do I know where I am? It's so bad. One guy went out there, found himself a spot, settled a deed, then went out exploring and got lost and couldn't even find his way back to his deed. So I think the expectation... Oh, by the way, I'll interrupt myself. Here's someone named Blood Rena. And I've seen another person named Blood Good. My name is Blood Song. I don't know who these other Bloods are, but it's kind of weird because in all my time playing MMOs, I've never really seen anyone else that had the name Blood in their name. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing 2 others with the word Blood in their name at the same time that I created a character named Blood Song. Some kind of weird Matrix thing going on there. I don't know. So in addition to showing you around a little bit, you may have noticed some changes already, some slight changes from the previous video. I'll explain, but I'm going to wait until it's daylight. I'll show you that, and then I also think I want to do another little mini tutorial. The last video I did a mini mining tutorial, and this one I'll do a mini how not to get lost tutorial to show you how it kind of works. It's kind of obvious to me, but I think that there is an expectation for new players for there to be a system that just sort of automatically shows them where they are at all times, because a lot of games do that. And so they think it's going to be that way here too. And then 2 hours later, in CA help, hey guys, I'm lost. What do I do? So I'll explain it here. Unfortunately, probably not too many new players will see it before actually joining the game, which means it's not going to benefit people that much. But I'll do it anyway. So I'll do that, and I'll show you some changes to the deed. And for now, I'm going to go ahead and pause it since it's dark and the sun just set not too long ago. Let me see. What time is it? We'll go. Time. It is 21:32, so about 9:30 p.m. if you don't know the 24-hour time. So yeah, it's just getting dark, and it's going to be dark for a while. So I'm going to go improve this tower, see if I can't get it up to 20. And when it's daylight, I'll be back, and then we'll talk about how not to get lost, and we'll look at the deed. And it's daylight. I am to my tower. I managed to get it to about 21. I need better shards in order to get it up to the next level, 30, to get a third guard. He's being punished. We are already off to a bad start. He helped himself to my oven. I cooked fried steak beef, and he just thought he'd help himself to it. What he didn't realize is that I'm making a meal out of it. So after I cooked it in the frying pan, then I was adding some vegetable to make a meal. You can eat fried steak beef just as it is to get a little bit of protein and fat. I managed to get 4 protein and 1 fat out of it because my hot food cooking is quite low, but it's already down to 2% protein and the fat is already gone. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the protein reduces your need to eat, so you don't have to eat as frequent to keep your hunger bar up. As soon as this cucumber and this fried steak is finished, it'll form a meal, and then I'll eat that, and I'll get my food or my food bar up. So he's being punished. I sent him over here to stand and stare at the wall. Bad guard. There's another one out there walking around somewhere. I do believe I can now fire my Templar. It costs 2 silver to hire a Templar and then 1 silver per month. However, I don't think it takes all of that monthly silver at once. I think it slowly reduces it from your bank, or your upkeep rather. Beef meal, look at that, 1.73 quality. That's terrible. That's okay. It'll get better. See what I get out of this. My nutrition is actually down a bit. I did have it up to as high as 73 at one point in time. Will this fill me? I don't think it will. Let's see. It's moving up very slowly. Yeah, it's not going to fill me up, but that's okay. It filled me up enough. Yes, I took off my armor because armor slows you down, if you didn't know that. Cloth armor is the only armor that does not reduce your speed, if I recall. Leather armor reduces your speed, but not by much, and that's what I've been wearing, is the starter leather armor that they give you. And why is it not? Maybe I have to do this. Oh, I guess you can't have your UI off and scroll in or out. And then the next one up, which is studded leather armor, further reduces your speed. But most people would agree that the speed reduction compared to the protection it gives you is a good choice. Beyond that is chainmail and then plate mail, and they both slow you down significantly. I'll end up with a combination, some pieces leather and some pieces studded leather. And I know some of you out there are probably rolling your eyes right now, thinking, why? Why would you do that? There's the other guard back there. So I've never actually hired a Templar before Harmony. And I've also never fired a Templar before Harmony. So I believe the way you do it, from how it's been explained to me, there it is you go in to your, I guess I need to turn on my UI. You go into your token and settlement, resize. And I think when you go into resize, you hit survey and then survey area again. Save name. And then here I think you just change that to a 0. Are my surveys still up? Yes, they are. I think I'll leave the surveys up for now. Let me resize this. Then you can get a better view of my claim. You're actually seeing 2 sets of posts here, one for my border and one for my perimeter. So let me show you what's changed here. You notice this area, which you can probably imagine is going to be a road, a 2-tile road, meaning a highway. So basically what I've done here is I've talked with spoke with both of my neighbors. This one over here, No Hero HD. He's actually the first guy I ran into, if I recall, when running out here randomly. He was asking me if I lived around here, and I told him I hadn't found a spot yet, and he ended up moving in right there. There's his guard tower. He just put it up today as well, but I think he beat me by maybe 8 hours or so. And then down here to my west is Leafy Wurm, and he has a couple of alts, and he's claimed over here. He's done quite a bit of work. He's making very fast progress, which I guess helps when you have a couple of alts. So here's my deed border right here. And then over here is my perimeter. So you can see here, I've planned out for the highway to go right through my deed right here. So that's how I'll be connected, beginning right here. And then this portion is within my perimeter, so off deed. So I prefer that very much. And I'm not sure exactly if we're going to continue going straight here and then just create a corner and then go straight again, or if we're going to go at an angle. I don't like roads that are at an angle because the grass that appears in a corner, the texture doesn't match the rest of the grass. Not even if it's short grass, it doesn't match. It just looks like a color. And I kind of hate it. So I prefer to do roads that just go straight and then turn. But for convenience sake over here, it'll probably from here continue on this way and then go like that at an angle. And then at some point, once it gets closer to my neighbor, he's going to have to decide exactly where he wants to connect it. But he's already agreed to this connecting point right here. So we're good so far. So the highway will go this way, all the way to this corner, then turn sharply, and then enter into my deed. And then rather than have the highway go along here and along the beach, which is what most people do, because it's the way it works out best. In this case, for my deed, it's actually going to go back behind and wrap around my deed. And for me, I think that works best. That means I have more space down here that I can use for my actual deed rather than reserving space for the highway. So the highway will go up here. The second lane will be right here. I haven't marked it yet. And then we'll go right up here. And then I had originally marked this intersection, but this is going to be an internal road for my deed. And then we'll continue on. And then my deed ends right here. You can see the marker. And then here's my deed perimeter. And this is where the highway will continue. And then the next lane will be right here. And I cleared one lane. I still need to clear this one. And then I'll run up here and give you a view down the hill towards my neighbor. Up to this point, and here's my deed marker. I'll be digging up all of this dirt here. Going to need it. And then Leafy Wurm has already chopped down all of these trees along these two tiles. So this will be the highway. And this just so happened to work perfect for him. I basically marked where I wanted the highway to be for me up to this point, and then I stopped, and then I ran down and I spoke with him and asked him what did he prefer. Should it continue on, or should I basically bring it back down to the beach? But it just so happened that this worked out perfectly for him, for the highway to just continue on going straight down. And his crops here are temporary, so those will go. So as you can kind of see how it lines up perfectly, just by chance. I mean, we could have done other things. We could have turned back, for example, this way and then over, or back down towards the beach. But this worked out pretty well. So if you're planning a highway, or as I mentioned before, guard towers, you should be talking to your neighbors. And, if you're scared because you're shy or something, well, this is a really good opportunity, a good excuse to talk to them. Say, hey, I'm planning out how I want the highway to go through my deed. Can I talk to you for a few minutes about it? Do you have time now, or can we talk later? You work with your neighbors, and then you can solve little issues like that, and then everybody's happy. And I could have just kept on going. I could have just assumed that that would be good for him. But I didn't. I only marked out how I wanted the highway on my part of the deed to connect. And then spoke with my neighbors. I'm not trying to toot my horn. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to impress upon you to communicate with the people that live near you. If it's your first time playing Wurm, this is a social game. Even if you're a hermit and you're far removed from everyone else, you will in time be interacting with other players. So I think this will work out well. I'm pleased with it. I'm actually going to start paving today. I'll be paving this back part of the highway first, and then I'll go down here and I'll pave the perimeter part down here. I'll actually pave the portion on my deed last. And of course, I'll be flattening the highway too. I'll be making it look nice, but you don't have to do that before you pave. You can reshape the road with pavement on it, in case you didn't know that. Actually, let me check this real quick, just so I know. So I know to keep an eye out for shards. Oops, let me turn this on. Okay, so better than 22. So I wanted to talk about how not to get lost. I'm having second thoughts now. I think I might do it on the next video. Simply because my voice is wearing out and it's getting late here. Why is that text colored? What does that mean? GM, maybe? I've seen blue text too. I think blue text is an admin. I'm not sure what that color means. Anyway, it's getting late. I'm a bit tired. I did say I would cover it though. That would suck if I said I'm going to cover it and then someone kept on watching the part they didn't want to watch just so they could hear that part. Okay, I'll cover it. I'll cover it. I'll cover it. Look at these guys down here. What the hell? We like this particular tile right here and none of the others. Bunch of dummies. They're going to get diseased. They're like all there. She's a smart cow. He's a smart horse. I know that's a he. You know how I know that's a he? Because that's a he, that's a he, and those two are he's. Every horse I've found so far is a male. I would like to find just one female so I can start breeding them. I think there was one over there. I think I saw one over there earlier. I may wander over there or just wander this way and see if I can find a female horse. All right, let's talk about how not to get lost. Now, first of all, if you're playing on any of the former servers, they get map dumps once a year, somewhere between December and January. The admins or developers of Wurm Online, they actually go in and they do a digital map dump and upload it to Google Docs, and then everyone can take a look at it. It includes everything in much greater detail than what you see with the in-game map. It will also show you the location of highways and canals and tunnels, and you can see altered terrain from where people have terraformed and built their villages and all that. Some of the players out there have downloaded them and then turned them into a map resource online, complete with naming land formations and even deed names, if the players allow it. So I use one on Xanadu, for example. However, when a new server is launched, there isn't a map dump. So that means this is your only resource, and you have to make the most out of it. Now, before we talk about this, I can easily summarize how not to get lost. The way you don't get lost in Wurm is the same way you don't get lost in real life. For example, let's say you're going to some event. Maybe you're going to the movies, or maybe you're going to a concert or a ball game, or maybe a mall, if there's still malls that actually exist where you live. And you park in the parking lot, and do you just immediately start walking in? No. You think to yourself for a split second, okay, where am I? Okay, I'm right here. This is where I parked. You do that before entering the mall or the game or whatever. Why? Because you know when you exit that building, you're going to have to remember where you parked. It's the same thing in Wurm. So when you pop into the world, there's going to be, if you're on Harmony, there will be either Heartland that you're on or Harmony Bay. If you are on Defiance, then it depends on, I believe, the alliance that you've joined. I think that determines which one of these starter towns that you begin in. And if you are on Melody, then you pop in right here in Overture. So the first thing you do before you leave that starting zone is first know where that location, know where you are, just like you would in a parking lot. Pull up the map and you say, okay, I'm right here. Actually, let me use this one as the example since this is the server I'm on. So that's what I did. I popped up here and I looked around and I said, this is where I want to go because this is my area of interest. And so therefore I know I will be going directly east till I hit water, and then I'll follow the water up. I decided that before I even left, and I knew the direction. And then on your way, as you're moving, you will periodically check your compass to make sure you haven't gotten yourself off course. It's easy to do. Maybe you run into a spider or a cliff or some obstacle that you have to go around, and you forget that you turned in this direction and then you didn't turn back. So now you're going south instead of east, as an example. So it starts from the moment you decide to leave the starting zone. Beyond that, you will always be on the lookout for landforms. So since I was moving in this direction, I was looking out for whatever this was right here and this here, because it kind of looks like a big hill. And I was definitely really keeping an eye out for this mountain because it looked like this mountain range would be quite visible. And then, of course, I was also waiting to hit water. And I did hit water. I think it was here. And if you go back to that video, I think I even said something like, oh, I'm there already. But then I realized that it was just a small body of water. And that's another really important way to not get lost, is to just look at all of the various shapes of the body of waters. That will help you a lot, especially if you're near the body of water and you can actually see it in game. Like this, for example, is quite unique. This little land that kind of extends. When I was over here looking over in this direction saying there was a horse over there, it was actually right over here on this little piece of land that sort of jets out into the lake. This is a medieval game. There's no electricity, there's no SpaceX, there's no satellites, and so there's no GPS. I do understand that many games have that. Most games have that. I'm playing another survival game right now, a space-based survival, and it shows you your location as a little blip on the map. And I do understand that most people expect that. But this is a medieval game, and things are a bit primitive, and so that means there is no GPS, there is no blip. There isn't a thing that identifies your location on the map. You have to keep track of it, just like you would back in the olden days. And if you're old enough to remember this, you may remember Thomas guides. Thomas guides were these big maps that were in the form of a booklet that people would carry in their cars, and that's what you had to not get lost. These days, you don't need that, because these days everybody does have GPS. If not in your car, then you have it on your cell phone. But in Wurm Online, it sort of works the old-fashioned way. This is your map, and the best thing is just always keep track of where you are as you're traveling. Don't walk around and wander for 2 hours and then stop and say, oh yeah, where am I now? Because it's too late now. So what if you do get lost? What if you didn't do those things and it's too late and you're watching this video and you're like, yeah, a little late, bud, I'm so lost. Well, walk in any one straight direction. If you have a vague idea of where you are, maybe you think, I think I might be over here somewhere. Maybe it's a bigger area. All right. Where do you want to go? Whichever direction you think you want to go, walk in that direction and walk straight. Don't turn. Obviously avoid obstacles and dangers, but otherwise just keep going in that direction until you hit water, and then look for signs that match up with the map, and then you'll know where you are. Another way you can get unlost is to simply ask in local. If there's anyone else in local, say, hey, can anyone tell me where on the map I am? Because if you see people in local, there's a good chance that they're on their deed and that they're working on their deed. And they probably know exactly where they are. Because, having a deed usually means you know where your deed is located. Now, this isn't always the case. And I think I mentioned earlier, funnily enough, there was someone in CA Help saying, hey, how do I find my deed? I lost it. That's going to be a rough day. When the map dumps come, it'll be a lot easier to navigate. But that's not going to be here for at least 6 months. And maybe not even then. Maybe they'll decide not to do a map dump. Maybe the people here will complain and say, no map dumps for the northern cluster. So maybe they won't do it. Who knows? You can't even expect it. So in the absence of expectation, just learn how to navigate with the map and looking at the land features around you. And you'll figure it out. What is that over there? I can't tell. It's either a sheep or maybe a unicorn. A white horse? I doubt very much it's a white horse. I think you can only... Actually, no. I think white horses will spawn, but I think they're quite rare. Something right there, too. Tiny. Could be something dead. Which is good, because I can butcher it and get some meat and possibly some leather. Did I forget anything about getting lost? I don't think so. Oh, my deed markers disappeared, even though I still have this open. Can I just close this here? Nope, I have to cancel. So, new monthly upkeep. One thing about this monthly upkeep is this does not include the cost of your guard. Keep that in mind. So in reality, I'm paying 4 silver and 77 copper and 20 iron every month because the guard costs 1 silver as well. But now that I'm going to fire, not this second, I'm going to fire him. I might keep him for another day. I don't know. I kind of like having the Templar around. Templars are different than guards. A Templar sounds the alarm the moment anything aggressive enters your property, and then it goes after them, whether you wanted it to or not. The guards, on the other hand, will pretty much ignore it until you sound the alarm. And you do that by typing in guards exclamation point here in, not in help chat, but in local chat. And then the guards will help you. Of course, you have to have that creature targeted at the time. And usually it's attacking you when that happens, so it's a good idea to set a bind for that. The way you do that is, I'll show you real quick. Wrong key. F1, and then you would just type in bind, and then whatever the key is you want to do, and then I believe it's quotation marks, capital G, say guards, exclamation point, quote. When you do that, whatever that key is, it will always say it, that the guards will always be said in local. So if you yelled for guard help in the past and then you forgot you were in CA help or something like that, that's how you resolve that. If you just type in bind, whatever the key is, it will tell you what's already there. So there it is. Bind 0, say guards. Oh, actually, I guess it doesn't have to be a capital G. So that's what you would type. If you want it to be something else, you could do bind G and then say guards. Something like that. But that certainly helps a lot. Then you're not trying to run away from something that's killing you and typing guards at the same time. I really need to get some more crops going here because this is not cutting it. I don't have a sleep shack up yet because I've only seen one bear so far. And it was when I first logged in and ran to this area from Heartland. And of course, then I wasn't messing around with any bears. And I haven't seen any black wolves. So brown bears, black bears, and wolves all drop fur. You need fur and cotton for sheets in order to make a bed. So there's no point in me making a sleep shack yet until I know that I can make a bed. And until I get enough cotton for sheets and at least find a bear or a wolf for fur, that's not happening. It's kind of sad. It's day 6 now, evening of that day, and there he is. I know he's wandering around here somewhere. And I still don't have a bed. I think some of these villages, like these big villages that have like 20 people in them, they have lots of beds. But they have a lot of people pooling their resources as well. Not me. I can't do that. I'm too particular about how things look on my deed to have a bunch of people chipping in. I don't know. Maybe under the right circumstances I'd do that. Or maybe under the right circumstances I would just join. But for now, I'm happy to have my own deed. Is there anything else I want to talk about? I guess that's it for now. Let me see. 38 minutes. Not bad. So this will be a 40-minute video. And now if I can just remember to timestamp the how not to get lost tutorial in the comments, I'll be good. Because maybe that's the only thing of interest to you. Regardless, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.